So today I downloaded the character versus identification insights from the universe when I was sitting in my garden. And so most people are fighting a war between their character and their identity, and they don't even know it. So people might say, I'm German, or I'm an American, or I'm Nigerian, or I'm Indian. Or some people can identify by saying, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm a Muslim, or I'm a Christian, or I'm a Hindu, or I'm a Buddhist. Or people say, I'm a politician, I'm a crypto trader, I'm an influencer, or I am trans. Of course, there's nothing wrong with all of that. It's your personal choice. But in the suited monk philosophy, identity, or how you show up in the world, lives in the mind. It's like the suit that you wear in front of the world and how people see you. Now, character, on the other hand, is more when you take off the suit, and that's actually your inner monk. It's the essence of who you are. It's like the real you. And it's the part that sits beyond the title, beyond the label, and beyond how you show up. Now, every day on social media, you see people wearing a beautiful, shiny suit, right? You see the perfect photos, people live a luxury lifestyle, they're showing off their identity. But underneath all of that, there is often a big gap between the person. And I think the world is starting to see the inauthenticity in all these different projections. For example, at the World Cup a few days ago, the Argentinian players, they started to fight the players of Spain right after the final whistle at the World Cup. There are crypto influencers online and they are hyping coins and then they are rugging their own followers. And then there are Instagram influencers, they are like looks maxing for the perfect image and the lifestyle and so on, but then they are showing clear signs of depression. And so it's all signs that it's actually there's a gap showing. And when your identity, your external self, and your character, your internal self, when they are not aligned, you create a gap within yourself. And the larger the gap that you see on social media or online, the more people suffer, the more this person is suffering. Now, the smaller that you make that gap between your identity and your character, the more at peace and aligned you feel. So the right way to do it is actually develop character first and then let your identity flow from your internal character so that you never create the gap in the first place. And at the end of the day, everyone on this earth has a suit, everyone has a monk, and everyone has a gap between the two. There are no exceptions. When your identity becomes bigger than your character, your ego gets extremely fragile. It's like, when you talk to someone, you can see what happens when you challenge their political point of view, or you challenge their gender identity, or you challenge their religion. Suddenly they are triggered, they become angry, they become defensive. And that is not always because they are bad people, it's because their internal gap is actually screaming. And that creates then the suffering, and then the suffering makes you depressed. So disregarding on how you identify, that identity can always be attacked. But your character, your inner monk, your true essence cannot be attacked because it's not really like a position, it's more like a state of being. It's who you are. So in the suited monk philosophy, we call this that sometimes people are stuck in the gap. And that gap needs cleaning. And so when you develop character, you will always work like on the foundation of your life. It's the essence of who you are. So for example, I lived in China for 12 years. And, as many of you know, my name is Raf, right? That's my identity. But when I was living in China, they called me Rafu, they called Rapu, Bairefu, they called me Ralph, everything but my name, because Raf is not very common in China, it's non-existent. So if I had been attached to my identity, I would have been miserable every single day. But instead, I actually focused on my own character and how I was showing up and not how I identified. So my identity was just more like something on how I show up in the world. It's just like the outfit that I wear every single day, and my inner monk stayed untouched. So here's what I want you to do. instead of inside your inner monk, you can live according to three core, let's say, ideas. Focus on your purpose in life. Focus on finding your path in life. That is your true character. Focus on developing your values, making decisions aligned with those values. That's your character. Focus on listening to your internal intuition. These are universal principles beyond identity. That is the true character and the essence of who you are. So you clean the gap inside yourself, clean negative emotions, align with your monk, and then you can develop and show up in the world in the suit that you wear, and you don't have a gap inside of yourself. So identity is universal. Everyone has one, but the character that you have is uniquely yours. So focus on developing character. And there's one question that I want you to sit with and think about is, are you spending right now more time and energy on how you identify and who you identify as? Or are you more spending time on developing your true character, the essence of who you are? So drop your answer in the comment sections below. If the Suited Monk philosophy resonates with you, give this video a like, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.